Please welcome to the stage, Cyndi Freeman!
It is the mid-1980s. I am about 22 years old, and I have gotten myself a job as a Christmas elf. And I am really excited about this. Not so much about Christmas, I'm Jewish. But it's more that this is a paid gig. And this is super special to me because the last thing my acting teacher did when I graduated from college was to sit me down and take me out to lunch to say, you know, I really don't know if you have what it takes to make it. In fact, I think that you would save yourself a lot of heartache if you just quit right now. But here I am just a few months later with a paid gig. Ha! Yeah. $20 an hour in the 1980s to be a Christmas elf. And to understand how this is happening, I have gotten hired by this really amazing theater company in the Boston area. They are known for innovative, interactive stuff. They actually won a number of Smithsonian awards at local museums. And they are doing Christmas at the Crown Prince of department stores of the Boston area. This is a store that no longer exists, but they competed with Macy's, and they just wanted to prove to Macy's every year that Macy's, you don't know Christmas. We know Christmas. Hence, they have hired like this innovative theater company, and they have gotten our Santa, Sean. He is a Shakespearean actor. He is 6'4" with his own real hair and his own real beard. He looks so much like Santa. He's like, yeah, kids mistake me for Santa on the subway in the summer when I'm wearing shorts. And he's like, yeah, I'm on vacation. What do you want? You know, he loves being Santa. And in fact, on our one day of training, he's telling me and Lisa, the other elf, like, you know, your job is to just keep those kids entertained, you know, have fun with them, like come up with an elf name and an elf history, because I take my time with those kids. Our job is to bring them magic. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, this actually sounds like it could be fun. And that also is amazing in contrast back to this college education I have just come out of. I went to the school that they believed that the life of an actor was rough. And if you could do anything else in this world, you should do that instead. They believed for an actor it was brutal, it was rejection, it was constant not knowing when you're gonna eat next, and they were going to make us tough, and they did this by screaming at us constantly. Think Full Metal Jacket with like musical show tunes. I had one teacher whose catchphrase was, "Why are you even here?" It was horrible. I used to cry, which I actually think was the goal. I imagine they had meetings in the morning, like, who are we gonna try to make cry today? And if you cried, they would scream at you, "Why are you crying?" They were not very nice people. I remember one day I was walking through the halls, my acting teacher said, "How you doing, Cyndi?" And I said, "Oh, you know, my stomach has been killing me lately." And in hindsight, was probably because of the stress of that college. And I was like, you know, and I'm seeing a doctor today, I'm getting tests, and I've never had tests like this, I'm really worried. And she said, you know what, I want to give you a hint, a tip that I think is going to help you through the rest of your life. And I was like, okay. And she said, when people ask you, how you doing, they really don't care. These were, anyhow. So this is the education that I have come out of, and here I am, and it looks like we're gonna have fun. And you would think that, like, you know, I would believe after all of this that I'm clearly tough enough to survive everything after 4 years of this. But the problem is that this school has sucked the joy out of performing for me. There was nothing fun about this. All the reasons why I had started as a kid, you know, when I wanted to pretend to be somebody else or put on crazy costumes or try to make people laugh, like all of that was gone. And over the summer, I had been working at the Marriott as a waitress, and my coworker, who was a few years older than me, we were talking about it. He was like, yeah, my education was just like yours. You know, I think these teachers, they've given up because they need the comfort of tenure, right? So just think if they couldn't make it, doesn't mean that you can't make it. And don't believe them, it's really not that tough out there. Do 2 shows, and decide for yourself what the real world is like. And I remember crying, like, thank you. Like, he really brought me to tears, but here I am on Faith, and I have gotten cast, and it is day go. It is the day after Thanksgiving, and again, this department store goes all out. We are on a horse-drawn sleigh with the horses with the furry hooves, and we are clip-clopping through the cobblestones of downtown Boston into the main thoroughfare downtown crossing. Full-page ads, all the local press. So there are like 300, 400, 500 people out there, and as we're coming closer, you can hear the kids at a distance like, Santa! They are going nuts. And as we get closer, I can see the logos, CBS, NBC, you know, it's like the local news affiliates are out. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm gonna make it to the news, and my teachers at that school are gonna go, she didn't quit or something, I don't know, but it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna be sort of maybe famous. Anyhow, so we get in there and we get off of our horse-drawn sleigh and we escort Sean up to this platform, and we take a little bow and everyone goes, yay, and we back up, and I kid you not, the mayor of Boston presents the keys to the city to Sean, and he gracefully accepts them and says, ho, 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 you know, ladies and gentlemen, in exchange for this wonderful, wonderful tribute that you have given me and these keys, I want to present a gift to you, 100 doves of peace. At which point, 2 animal handlers in lederhosen, this married couple, they lift the lid off this box before a silver and white with a big bow, and out spew 100 doves. It's just like, it's like fireworks but alive. I mean, it's literally like they're right by me, so it's like I can feel the winds of their wings in my face, and I'm backing up, and it's like bat out of hell, and they're just going and going and going. And when you think there should be no more doves, there's more doves. It's like a clown car of doves, right? But once they get in the air, they start swirling above the crowd, and it's gorgeous, and everybody's saying, oh, and the last little dove goes by my face, and we all naturally sort of look down into the box. Yeah, I can tell you already kind of know. There's 20 or 30 dead, crushed, bleeding, bloody white doves. You can see like their wings are broken and they're flopping around. One of them is missing an eye, and it's staring at me with its other little eye as if to say, maybe you can help us. At which point the handler smashes down the top of the box, and we look up to a sea of happy children. They're so happy, and Sean is a total trooper. He's just like, ladies and gentlemen, meet us in Santa's village in 30 minutes. And we are sort of escorted off, and I'm like, what's happening here? What was that? And he's like, shh, 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 in the dressing room. So we get to the dressing room, and my heart is just going a mile a minute. I'm feeling nauseous, and in walk the animal handlers, and I'm like, what went wrong? And they're like, what? I'm like, you lost, some of your doves didn't make it. And the woman looks at me, and she goes, oh, that, yeah, don't worry about it. That happens all the time. I know. And I'm just like, what? And Sean goes to his full 6'4", and he just says, excuse me, ma'am, are you saying every time you pull this stunt, you lose 20 or 30 animals in your care? And she's like, well, you can't get that many doves in a box that small without losing a few. And the husband just like, what are you, a vegetarian? And Sean's like, I don't know what. And he goes, you eat turkey last night? Hypocrites. And they start laughing at us. Oh, a bunch of hypocrites. And they're like turning into street clothes. And I'm just like in shock. And suddenly we're pulled off for a photo opportunity with children. So I'm trying to talk to Sean, like, what happened? He's like, shh, do not talk about this. Do not talk about this. And so the one thing my college has taught me is how not to cry when all I want to do is cry. So I get out there and I fake a smile and I get through the day and the kids are so happy and they're like, Santa, we want to meet Santa. And I'm just thinking to myself, you have no idea. You have no idea that Santa doesn't want me to talk about the death I have just experienced. That's who Santa is. And I get on the subway and I am just super upset because there is just this thing of like, this is everything that the teachers warned us about like it being tough. It's actually, the animal handlers remind me of my teachers with this attitude. And maybe my friend from the Marriott is just wrong. And as I'm getting home and I'm wiping the tears, I'm thinking to myself, maybe the moral high ground is to quit because I don't want to live in a world where this kind of thing is okay. And the phone rings. And it's Jeff. He's the owner of the theater company. And he's like, hey, how you doing? I don't trust authorities. I'm like, I don't know, is this a trick question? And if I tell you the truth, will you fire me? So I'm just like, I'm fine. Why? And he's like, well, Sean came over right after work and told us about the doves. And I'm like, oh yeah, it was rough. And he's like, well, he's written a letter, and we would like you to sign it only if you want to. I already have. Can I read it to you? And I said, sure. And he reads this letter, which only a Shakespearean actor could have written, which ends with, perhaps you don't think much of the job of Santa and the elves, but me and the actors that I am working with do. Our job is to bring magic to the most innocent of all our children and give them memories that they will hold dear, not just for today, but for the rest of their lives. And we don't know what is going on, perhaps, outside of this department store, but their families have chosen to bring them here for the gift of magic. And in stark contrast is what we witnessed today. The brutality and the casual brutality that we witnessed. We deserve not just an apology from being part of that, but also an assurance that you will never work with live animals ever again. And if we do not get such, myself and the other two actors will have to resign from the position of Santa and the elves. Santa was threatening to quit. And I just had, my little heart just kind of sang a little soon, and I just like, yeah, you please put my name on that. He's like, are you okay to come to work tomorrow? I'm like, I'm fine. And we get to work the next day, and Jeff's there, and Sean's there, and I get hugs from both. I'm not used to hugs. I wasn't a huggy school, and it's just like, this is nice. And then out of nowhere, the executives evidently got faxed this letter because they come pouring in. There's 8 of them, all in suits. Spokesperson is this woman in like a little tight little dress, I think Barbie's mother, in her 50s, ex-model, absolute beautiful ice princess, but just weeping. We do believe in magic. We do. It's just what we do every year. It's like and Sean just stood up and gave this poor woman a hug. And we had, then we went out to work, and it was absolutely wonderful. I think that was the day that I had this kid like say to me, I don't know if I should be here, I'm Jewish. And I said, so am I. In fact, all the elves are Jewish. And who else do you expect to work on Christmas Eve? And me and Lisa, we came up with this patter about like, yeah, what do you want for Christmas? You want broccoli? You know, because we have all this broccoli. Nobody wants the broccoli. We watch kids tearing out of Santa's little space, screaming to their parents, Ma, he's the real one. He's the real one. And we assure them he really is the real one. In fact, I remember one day taking photos, and there was a little girl. I'm not sure exactly what she said, but it was something along the lines of, what I want for Christmas is my grandma to get better. And it was like, stop that line, get those parents in here. And there was a mini therapy session with this child and the parents and Santa before this kid left the store. He was incredible. And granted, I could say that with the executives, they came in and they gave an apology, which I do believe was sincere, but it was probably what they needed to do in order to keep Christmas going for that year. But when it came to understanding that there are kind people in the arts, and that when things go wrong, you don't have to quit. You simply just need to make a stand for what you believe in. Santa set a tone for my entire career, And Sean, God bless him, because he passed away a few years ago. That man truly saved my soul.